Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by the following: IU Health Southern Indiana physicians, primary care and specialty care providers now accepting new patients in Bloomington and throughout South Central Indiana. siphysicians.org. The IU School of Education, preparing teachers, scholars, and administrators to improve teaching and learning in Indiana and around the world. More at education.indiana.edu. Main Source Bank, headquartered in Greensburg, Indiana, offering products and services to fit every stage of life. More information at mainsourcebank.com. Main Source, life needs a great bank. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company. Fiber Internet, HD, and digital IPTV in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com.
And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. How to finish I-69 is in the hands of the state, but where is the money going to come from? Ahead, how all the construction delays and ongoing issues are going to impact taxpayers. Plus, we visit a community where transportation could be impacting food accessibility, what that could mean for public health.
With a poor population and an aging population, they might have a vehicle, they might not, but they might also only live a mile and still have trouble getting to a grocery store.
This is where a woman gets a mammogram. It can be critical in early detection for breast cancer. Up next, why some in Indiana are concerned about the future of life-saving exams.
These stories, plus the latest news headlines from across the state, right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. In the United States, breast cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths among women. But cancer mortality in the U.S. is down 30 to 40% since 1990 because of the implementation of mammogram screenings. But some believe access is being threatened. Lindsay Wright joins us with more.
Hey, Joe, thanks. Recent recommendations from a group of national experts that advise when someone should begin annual mammogram screenings could eventually impact what insurance will cover. Some Hoosiers worry whether women will continue to have access to the life-saving exams in the future.
There are a few things you should know about Janice Davis. She's been married for 25 years. She's a mother, grandmother, dog lover, and breast cancer survivor.
And I had no family history, so it wasn't, I didn't expect that to happen.
But the unexpected became a reality for Davis 16 years ago. She was 49 years old. For almost a decade, she'd been following her doctor's advice and going for annual mammogram screenings, but this time,
I kept putting it off and putting it off. And, you get busy and you think, well, I need to do that, I need to do that. I didn't do it for a whole year.
Many medical professionals recommend that women begin annual mammogram screenings when they turn 40. 1 in every 6 women diagnosed with breast cancer is in their 40s. But last year, the United States Preventative Services Task Force, an independent group that reviews health service recommendations, gave that advice a C grade.
What the C grade says is, we want women to make their own choice. We want them to use the science to make their own decision about when to screen after talking with their doctor.
The C grade means women in their 40s don't benefit from annual screenings as much as older women. That's why screening regularly for women between the ages of 50 and 74 was given a B grade. Women in their 40s are more likely to receive false positive results, according to the review.
And this is looking at the breast from top to bottom. And this is looking at it site to site, so it kind of encompasses the entire breast tissue for us to look at.
Dr. Parin Bayani is a breast imaging specialist. He calls the task force recommendations for women in their 40s concerning. He says the purpose of screening mammograms is to pick up cancer way before a woman can feel it, and more importantly, before it can spread.
So if you extend the screening recommendations to every other year or 2 years, well, that certainly gives the cancer a much larger chance to grow in those 2 years and spread, which is not what we want.
The task force recommendations are meant for a broad audience, including physicians and patients, but health insurance companies also use the recommendations to determine how to set policies. For example, the Affordable Care Act covers preventative services with an A or B grade. So if a service gets a C grade, there is a chance insurance providers could stop covering it. It's unclear if that would actually happen with mammogram screenings, but Indiana Congresswoman Susan Brooks doesn't want to chance it. She co-authored the Protecting Access to Life-Saving Screenings Act as an effort to postpone any actions based on the task force's recommendations until 2020.
We know that young women of all ages and even men on occasion get breast cancer. But we know that screenings are important, and if these task force recommendations go into place, fewer women, fewer physicians will recommend that their patients get mammograms.
The bill has to make it through the House and Senate, and it's unclear if it will move forward as a standalone bill or as part of another piece of legislation. Brooks says she doesn't care, but she says there should be a consensus on the guidelines, and those guidelines should be made in the spirit of doing what is in the best interest of women. Task force officials say the organization doesn't determine insurance coverage policies. Its role is to look at the science.
But I can't use the science to manipulate the grade that we give a particular recommendation. Our job is to just report on what the science is telling us.
Davis says without the mammogram screening in her 40s that revealed cancer, the outcome for her could have been much different.
The lump that I had, I would have never found it doing a self-exam because it was back further toward my chest wall. And if I waited even longer, it probably would have been very much advanced, where it would have been, maybe I wouldn't have lived through it. I don't know.
She tells friends and families to have annual screenings done, so if the unexpected does happen, it's more likely to be treatable.
Just this week, another group, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, released similar guidelines to the United States Preventative Services Task Force. That group previously recommended women begin annual screenings at age 40. Now they say the test should be offered at age 40, but to talk to your physician and then make the best choice. And Joe, each person I talked to for this story did say a woman needs to have an open conversation with her doctor.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lindsay.
You're welcome.
The state's decision to take over control of I-69 Section 5 is raising questions about its plans for the final stretch of interstate from Martinsville to Indianapolis. The state has yet to secure funding for Section 6. Matt Dellinger is a journalist and author of Interstate 69, The Unfinished History of the Last Great American Highway. He's joining us via Skype to answer some questions. Matt, were you surprised to hear the news of this public-private partnership dissolving?
I was not surprised, and mainly because about a year ago it became evident that the developer was having a hard time paying its bills, and it was behind on payments to several subcontractors. This, I believe, was in last summer. It was almost exactly a year ago, and the project seemed to be in trouble. I mean, it was at this point it's a few years behind schedule, so there were plenty of warning signs.
So what does the state takeover of Section 5 mean for Section 6?
Yeah, it's a good question, and to add to the uncertainty is there's another question, which is what's going to happen at the federal level. I mean, we're hearing a lot about Trump's infrastructure plans. He wants a lot of investment in infrastructure. Governor Pence, who was the person who entered into this agreement that we're talking about today for Section 5, is now the vice president and potentially active in coming up with infrastructure policy at the federal level. It has long been a hope of the I-69 proponents up and down the corridor that someone in the federal government would sort of take a look at this and say, this is a project of national importance, and doggone it, it's worth it's worth billions of federal money to get it built, and just sort of hand over the money. That hasn't happened.
And Matt, do you think there are lessons to be learned from how the public-private partnership for Section 5 shook out?
I do. I think the term vetting comes to mind. I don't know what vetting was done. I'm not an expert enough in P3s, and that's the point. No one is. These are new arrangements for us here in the U.S. if you think we need stronger vetting for international people coming into the country, maybe we need better vetting for international money coming into the country. Maybe we need to know what interests are being represented and whether they're good partners or not.
All right, thank you very much. Now for headlines, we go over to Barbara Brosier, who has the latest on this week's top stories.
Thanks, Joe. The Indianapolis industrial plant Rexnord is staying open until September instead of closing this month. About 110 workers remain at the factory, down from about 350. Factories where work is being shifted in Mexico and Texas aren't ready to take over yet. President Donald Trump has twice made Twitter posts blasting plans to close the Rexnord plant, but union officials say the Trump administration hasn't done anything to stem the plant's job losses. Math scores labeled undetermined could lower the state's A through F ratings at a school where calculators were mistakenly allowed as a part of this year's I-STEP exams. State officials are reviewing how the students were mistakenly allowed to use calculators. The State Department of Education says testing company Pearson incorrectly told schools they could. Pearson says, however, it regrets inadvertently providing inaccurate guidance. The federal government continues to oppose intervention by a group of East Chicago residents who are asking a U.S. District Court to give them a larger role in the cleanup of their lead and arsenic contaminated neighborhood. The residents are asking a federal district court judge to grant their request. It's unknown when or if that will happen. 2 of the 4 insurers currently offering plans on Indiana's Affordable Care Act exchange announced they're pulling their plans next year, citing uncertainty surrounding the future of Obamacare and volatility in the market.
It certainly suggests that these markets aren't working perfectly right now. Part of that is because of potentially some of their design features, and part of it is because of what's been going on in politics.
Hoosiers who purchase individual health care coverage through the Affordable Care Act's exchanges could see premiums go up next year or even double in some cases. The U.S. Court of Appeals ruled in favor of Indiana and 8 other states this week, doing away with the in-state caps on inmate phone calls. The lawsuit challenged the Federal Communication Commission's caps on inmate phone calls, arguing the FCC violated principles of federalism by trying to supersede the state's authority. The ruling says the FCC can't set rates for inmate phone calls that take place within one state. Indiana is paying law firm McNeely Stevenson $100,000 to help deal with a backlog of public records requests, most of which seek emails from Vice President Mike Pence's tenure as governor. Republican Governor Eric Holcomb's administration entered a 1-year contract to handle the unusually high number of requests. Indiana Secretary of State Connie Lawson testified during the U.S. Senate Intelligence Committee hearing on election security.
Well, good morning, Chairman Burr and Vice Chairman Warner and distinguished members of the committee.
The hearing focused on reports that the 2016 presidential election was influenced and possibly manipulated by the Russian government. She told the Senate committee there is no evidence that vote casting or vote counting was manipulated in any state or county. Brown County Magistrate Frank Nardi will preside over Bloomington's lawsuit challenging a state law that halted the city's annexation efforts. A Monroe County judge disqualified herself from presiding over the case. Bloomington filed the lawsuit after lawmakers added a line to the state budget that prevents the city from moving forward with its annexation plans, which it spent at least $770,000 on. Monroe County is asking the state Supreme Court to weigh in on the ongoing battle over the property tax assessment of a CVS store. Monroe County wants the tax assessment to be based on how much the property is worth to the current user, but CVS wants it based on the value of an empty store. The Bloomington CVS store is the 4th in the county to appeal its assessment. Last month, the court declined to hear one of those cases.
Now, we've got another chance. We're going to have a full Supreme Court pretty soon. And since it was 2-2, let's roll the dice and see what happens.
Sharp says this might be Monroe County's last chance to appeal. If the court decides not to take the case, or if the court sides with CVS, she says the county could have to return up to $1 million to the 4 CVS stores. A 4-question survey is asking residents for input on a new jail location in Vigo County across from the federal prison. County Councilman Brendan Kearns conducted a Facebook poll looking to gather public input on the idea. The poll results show 60% of respondents support enhancing the current jail facility, and nearly 80% did not agree with constructing a new jail 5 miles from the county courthouse. High fructose corn syrup could receive a new tax on its way to Mexico if the U.S. does not finalize a deal with the country soon. They're expected to sign the deal by June 30th, but if a tax were to be created, the effects could hit Hoosier farmers. 5 to 10% of the state's corn crops go to making the syrup. The Chicago Cubs are hoping a stint in the minors will help former IU baseball standout Kyle Schwarber find his swing again. The 24-year-old Schwarber was sent down to AAA Iowa on Thursday, giving the slumping slugger a chance to catch his breath after a difficult start to the season. Last season, he helped the Cubs win the World Series for the first time since 1908. And Joe, he may not be hitting consistently, but when he hits them, he hits them.
I saw a couple home runs this year, and that's
Amazing.
not the problem. Thanks, Barbara. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. We'll take you to a county in Indiana where some say it can be difficult to get to the grocery store. And we go to Brown County where plans are underway for 2 new concert venues. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
$10,000.
15? 15, you think?
20, 21,000?
600.
20. 18.5.
24.
It's at least 40.
Look at it.
4,500,000.
650.
20.
650.
This textile would be worth about $500,000.
$500,000?
No way.
I knew it. It's just a blanket.
Laying on the back of a chair. Well, sir, you have a national treasure.
Wow.
A national treasure. Congratulations.
I can't believe this.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. On July 1st, 2021, all animal care facilities will be required to spay or neuter all cats and dogs that are adopted out. Efforts to meet compliance are already underway and have seen success in communities throughout the state. Here's Tyler Lake with more.
You've probably seen the pet-friendly license plate before.
It's been the #2 selling specialty plate on the market.
But where does the money from these plates go? Sherry Storms, Executive Director of the Spay and Neuter Services of Indiana, explains.
We offer free spay-neuter surgery certificates to rescue groups and shelters across the state. We're now partnering with about 225 groups that have taken us up on our generous offer.
Storms says that the effort from SNSI to ensure that all adopted pets are spayed or neutered have shown improvements in animal welfare. She also says the legislative efforts to provide more money for these procedures statewide will help with gaps in funding often found in low-income communities.
We're hoping to receive funding so that we have a mandate, but that we also have funding to make sure that we can afford to spay-neuter before adoption.
Greene County Humane Society has already met the requirements of this law and has for the last 7 years, says Director Michelle Chapman.
We've had that policy since 2010, and then this last year it started picking up again with our intakes, but we haven't been overcrowded. We do have 2 other rescues in the county that also take in animals.
Storm says the system Greene County uses is considered best practice for animal shelters. The new law makes Indiana the 33rd state to require spay and neuter before adoption. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Tyler Lake.
The irony isn't lost on anyone. Tipton is a county known for agriculture and home-to-food processing plants, and yet some residents feel the county is facing an issue with food access. J.D. Gray reports.
Nathan Kring is the director of the Tipton County Economic Development Organization.
We just had this building renovated, and it's going to get all new awnings.
He grew up in Tipton.
And then this is our butcher store. If you're looking for fresh produce or fresh meat or dairy, besides a convenience store, this is about your only option. Yeah, this is it. This is it besides Marsh.
And that Marsh was purchased last week by an Ohio-based grocery chain, Fresh Encounter, Inc. The auction came after months of Marsh headlines that included the grocery chain selling its pharmacy and declaring bankruptcy. Fresh Encounter says it doesn't intend to close any of the stores it purchased from Marsh, including the Tipton location, even during the transition. This should come as a relief to Tipton's residents, because if they lost their store, they'd have to drive 25 minutes to the next county to reach the nearest comparable grocery store. But all of the what-ifs and the uncertainty about Marsh highlighted a problem in Tipton County. Food isn't easily accessible for everyone.
8,000 people live inside Cicero Township, which is the center township. But even people who are 2, 3, 5 miles from Marsh, we're finding out don't have a car or only have one vehicle for the entire family.
The current Marsh store is about a mile east of Tipton's courthouse. Kring points out that there aren't sidewalks or bike trails to get there.
And you're walking along highways. It's a little dangerous.
Kring says the butcher shop and Dollar General do very well, and he says a lot of money is spent at convenience stores.
There are a little more than 6,600 households in Tipton County. Last year, just a tad more than 3,300 people went to a convenience store and spent $100 or more, 4 times or more per month.
If you can get to a grocery store, you can buy a lot of groceries for $100 that would get you through many more meals than $100 at a convenience store is going to provide.
Stone studies the impact of grocery availability on public health.
You're not having a lot of healthy choices over the day if you're getting all your foods from a convenience store.
Stone says it's possible to eat healthy at a convenience store, but it takes work, and she says nutrition is important.
It's tied to cardiovascular disease, hypertension, higher stroke rates.
And Kring is concerned folks aren't getting the nutrition they need from the convenience stores.
Our unemployment rate is 3.3%, very low. But what I think is Tipton is underemployed. Mom and dad are earning $8 to $9 an hour, and they're just not able to live except on a shoestring budget. Moon pies and frozen pizza, and that's not good. It's leading to health issues.
But Stone says in her research, it's a variety of factors that can lead to health issues. As for a solution,
a lot of public health is trying to make the healthy choice, good food, the easy choice.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm J.D. Gray.
Fresh Encounter officials say they're planning to rebrand the store, and they want to keep the employees at the store, saying the employees are the biggest driver behind store success because they know the customer base, adding that they want to keep the one-on-one personal approach. As for customer to store accessibility, Fresh Encounter says it's still under consideration. Many of the Marsh locations were purchased by a Kroger subsidiary. Kroger is holding multiple job fairs across the state to find employees for its new store in Franklin Township, as well as targeting former Marsh employees who are looking for jobs.
I think we've got a lot of applicants coming in. In fact, we've actually been hiring for management since we're expanding Kroger. Kroger's a great opportunity right now to really grow in terms of careers.
The Kroger in Franklin Township opens in August. Well, it seems like it's either feast or famine in Nashville. The tourist community lost the Little Opry to a fire in 2009. News came last week that a reopening date has been set for next year. And now the Brown County Convention and Visitors Commission is proposing a county-owned concert venue. Becca Costello reports.
When the Little Nashville Opry burned down, visitors to Brown County decreased significantly. The longer the site sat vacant and the taller the weeds got, the more worried business owners became. So they decided to take matters into their own hands.
Let's talk about the Maple Leaf and the Playhouse. I've heard
months before last week's news that the Opry had gotten the money to start reconstruction, business owners had drafted a plan for what's being called the Maple Leaf Performing Arts Center. It would be a county-owned 30,000 square foot music venue. The commission held a public meeting this week to present the idea to residents. Officials say a public venue is the best thing for the economy because it won't have to compete with existing venues, like the Brown County Playhouse.
more overnight guests to the county is going to help the Playhouse and all other music venues. You know, there's going to be more people here spending the night. Maybe one night they go to the Maple Leaf, the next night they go to Playhouse.
The idea is to use the Brown County Innkeeper's Tax to fund the construction. That's a 5% tax that every overnight visitor pays with their hotel or inn bill. That money is normally used to promote tourism in the county. Since a new venue would likely draw more visitors to the area, the county expects the revenue generated from the tax to keep going up. The commission plans to reinvest any profits the Maple Leaf generates from ticket sales or space rental back into the community. That could go to the police department or to local foundations or to fund projects the county currently can't afford.
There's also an initiative in town, in the county, talking about getting broadband internet out to the county. God, wouldn't we all like to be able to download a movie at our house sometime? Okay, I know I would, so. Okay.
The proposal still needs approval from several boards and local government officials, but residents at this public meeting were enthusiastically supportive of the idea. The commission predicts breaking ground by late November and opening as soon as January 2019. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Becca Costello.
And we're out of time, but more news online at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by the following: IU Health Southern Indiana physicians, primary care and specialty care providers now accepting new patients in Bloomington and throughout South Central Indiana. siphysicians.org. The IU School of Education, preparing teachers, scholars, and administrators to improve teaching and learning in Indiana and around the world. More at education.indiana.edu. Main Source Bank, headquartered in Greensburg, Indiana, offering products and services to fit every stage of life. More information at mainsourcebank.com. Main Source, life needs a great bank. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company. Fiber Internet, HD, and digital IPTV in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com.
And by WTIU members, thank you.